どうもこんにちは。フープファクトリーの岩野健次郎です。今回はコービーが残してくれたレガシー、人生の教え、成功とは失敗とはのパート3となります。こちらの動画を初めて見る方はパート1とパート2を初めに見てから、そしてこのパート3をチェックしてもらえると嬉しいです。今回のパート3では最初にゾーンへの入り方、次に本当の成功とは何かといった点についてコービーが話をしてくれます。こちらの出典元の動画を概要欄に記載してますので、ぜひオリジナルの動画もチェックしてみてください。それではコービーからのメッセージをどうぞ。
It's a good separation for me, emotionally, to be able to put myself in a place where at practice or when I'm training or during games, I switch my mind to something else. I switch my mode into something else, right? For me, it's the equivalent of Maximus Decimus Meridius in Gladiator picking up the dirt, smelling the dirt. It's go time, right? So that was my mental switch. It was like an actor getting ready for a film. You got to put yourself in that cage. When you're in that cage, you are that character. And then when you leave there, it's something completely different. But when I'm in that cage, bro, don't fucking touch me. Don't talk to me.
I had to separate myself. Because going through that time, it felt like there's so many things coming at once. It was just becoming very, very confusing. I had to organize things. So I created the Black Mamba. So Kobe has to deal with these issues, all the personal challenges. The Black Mamba steps on the court and does what he does. That's it. Be you. Be you. There's no gimmick. You don't have to contrive anything. Who are you? Where are you today? What is your story? Where does that come from? Right? And then all you're doing is not communicating the story to the public.
I tell you, like when I was in high school, and I used to work out with the 76ers. I used to ask them, what's it like to guard Mike? You go, Mike? You mean Black Jesus? I'm like, what the fuck? Black who? Oh, we call him Black Jesus. Or you can call him Black Cat. I'm like, I'm gonna call him fucking Mike. That's his fucking name. So the level of fear that he inspired in others was insane. Wow. And I would tell him, I said, when I face him, we're gonna go at it. He says, oh, you don't wanna do that. I'm like, what? Man, you don't know me, man. And so when we matched up, I think he understood that. And when I was 18, my first year, he got the best of me a bunch of times. I was right there the next play. You're not intimidating me, yeah. I'm not going anywhere. And I think he saw that level of respect, because I think he was the same way at 18 years old. And that common bond is what I think, where our connection was built.
Can I just ask a question? Jeez. 3 titles, could be a 4th in a matter of weeks, league MVP, could be finals MVP, and by the way, you go and win the gold this summer. Only one other person has done all of those things in one season, which is Michael Jordan. How you gonna get mad at that comparison?
I'm not mad at it. You're talking about the greatest that ever played the game.
Okay.
Come on. I mean, just let me do me. Right. Just let me do me.
But does not Kobe want to be the greatest?
Yeah, I want to be compared with Michael Jordan.
But don't you want to be the greatest?
I want to be the best I can be. You understand what I'm saying? Like Michael is Michael, and I've learned so much from him. And he and I always talk. I could pick up the phone and call him, and he's always there for me. And but you gotta let me be me. We're different people.
Now, at that point, was that when the Black Mamba raised its head?
Yeah.
Or was identified?
Well, it was always there.
It was always there. It just identified.
Let's put a name to it.
Yes. Yeah, tell me about that.
Well, I mean, like I said, there's a difference between who you are and what you are. And what I am when I step on that court is, I become that. I am that killer snake. And I'm stone cold, man.
Bryant dribbling, has to put it up with the buzzer. He banks in the 3, and the Lakers win the game.
Of all your nicknames, which one is your favorite and why?
Like Mamba, Vino. I like right now. I like Vino. Right
You
now.
like Vino right now?
I like Vino.
Vino
right
is
now.
a great nickname.
Yeah, Black Mamba's like, you know, that I enjoy that obviously. And that's the alter ego that I turn into when I step on the court.
I can't remember where this was. You mentioned you studied actors to get mindset. It was kind of a throwaway line. But I'm wondering who you studied the most. Like, who are you watching and you're like, I love that cold ass shit from whoever in this movie?
Hilary Swank and I had a lot of conversations about that actually, and talked to Kate Winslet about it as well. But we really got into how they build their characters and how they get into character. I've spoken with Larry Moss about that process as well. And there's something to that because like as an actor, you are trained to get into that zone, find that pocket. And as athletes, the psychology is the same. You know, the Sean Penn as well, we had a great conversation about it as well. The discipline is different, but the behavior is the same. Before you start a game, how can you lock in? You get into that mental space where nothing else matters. You're completely locked in and focused on what you're trying to accomplish as an athlete out here. The noise of the crowd doesn't matter. Whether you're cheering or booing doesn't matter. You're just completely locked in. How do you do that?
As a kid, I said, I want to be the best ever. Right? And now you go through your life and everything you do is try to be the best ever, be the best ever, be the best ever. And as you get older, you start understanding that those things are very superficial things. Right? And everybody has a different opinion about it. No matter what you do, I can win 20 championships. There's always an opinion on who's the best. Everybody has different opinions. And so I started really kind of understanding, maybe that's not the important thing. Maybe the important thing is to, you know, how do we as a team grow? How do I help my teammates be better? So that was the first change for me. And then as I got older still, it became more about how are you inspiring others, right, to find themselves. That is the ultimate championship. So won 5 championships, that's great. Another team won a championship this year. Team's gonna win a championship next year. Those things come and they go. But what stays is how do you use your passion and use that to inspire somebody else to create their passion? And then how can they pass that on to the next person? That is true success.
Phil would come to me and say, there was a year there in 2003 where I had 40 points in 9 straight games, right? Shaq was out. It was a toe thing. So Phil comes to me before the stretch and says, Kobe, we need you to take over the offense. I'm like, all right, cool. So that literally—
Say no more.
I got it. Fine, I got it. So that literally started the streak of 40 straight games, 40 points in 9 straight games. Shaq comes back from injury and Phil goes, I still continue to do it, right? And then Phil calls me to his office, goes, hey, we're starting to lose the big fella. What do you mean? Well, he's not getting the attention. This 40-point streak is starting to kind of take away his fire to prove something, right? So I need you to start dialing it back. I'm like, what? He says, we're gonna lose him and we need him in June. Okay, all right. We have a game against the Clippers. I think I like 38 or something like that. And I had a chance to score 40 and get 40 again. It was a blowout game. I dumped the ball in the Shaq instead of shooting a wide open shot. The 40-point streak ended that night.
Wow.
That was it. And that's inside stuff that people don't know.
Right. So you sent me, you went into Phil's office and said, are you happy now?
Yes. Yeah. Because Phil was like, hey, we got to dial it back. Got to dial it back. We're starting to lose the big fella.
Perfect Kobe, too. He's like, you got to dial it back. You're like, all right, I'll score 38 instead of 40.
Well, I mean, this is the streak thing. It would have been 10 in a row. I would have broke a record.
Right.
Right. I would have broke the record, but instead. So on team buses, team planes, in a locker room, after practice, I would look at the film. I'd pull Powell, Lamar, D-Fish, pull them aside and say, let's look at this. Right? We probably should have done this, that, and the other.
So you'll show them the game from a little bit here and there.
Yeah, and then you speak to them in executional terms. It's never, come on guys, we can do better. Come on guys, we can do better. That's rah-rah stuff, right? A leader must give very tactical, things that we can do, adjustments. Okay, the defense is doing this, that, and the other. That means we should probably do this, that, and the other. Yeah. By midway through the season, through that behavior, you start seeing them communicating the same way back to you, right? And it's like, okay, Cole, they're doing this, that, and the other to you. Maybe we should do this and that. You're like, okay, awesome, great, let's do it.
Yeah.
When I was playing, what I would do is study the film,
but study our younger players and see what areas do they need to develop in, and how can I help them develop. I mean, that was the big challenge, is you move from, being the single dominant player to understanding, okay, I have to help these other guys.
How do I lift everyone else up?
It's tough.
The reason why I did that is because I know San Antonio is not going to leave me. Bruce is not going to take his body off of me. So that's a great opportunity to get somebody else involved, get somebody else a really good shot, especially Derek. And it's important for him to get a good rhythm.
Parker flips it in.
You're going to create that momentum, though.
So Phil wants me to take that shot, but I'm seeing, if this winds up being a close game, I'd rather save that shot for the fourth quarter and continue to punish them with my teammates. With power rolling to the basket. If he doesn't have it, you got another shooter coming up that'll have it.
Hey, Fish, hit me on the pinch. Come off. I'm going to hit him coming off that double for a three.
That's just a lob out there.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I do that is because I want Radmanovich to get going. It's important because he's such a great shooter. I want to get him a look. I feel like he's not a part of this game yet, and it's important that I make him a part of that. So I know I can be a decoy on that strong side, and we can get him coming up for a three on the weak side. And this is what I couldn't do years ago because I didn't have the personnel on my team that I have now. See, in the past, I would have to, score 35, 40 points just to keep us competitive. Now, I don't have to do that. So you see me, directing more so than anything. I'm more of a compass, making sure we're going in the right direction, making sure we're executing well because I have the personnel to be able to do that now.
Doka is fouled.
It's made my life a lot easier. I'm still capable of having big scoring nights, but I just don't have to do it. That's reverse action. Every team in the league knows what this is. This is me just basically coming up to the top of the key or the elbow area and making a play. It's either isolation or, we go to the drop right here, now I clear them out, and we got someone on the weak side. Here we go.
Fisher, that's a three.
Because, they know that's coming, so they think I'm going to isolate and go one-on-one. So as a result, they got to have help defense. And when they have help defense, I know I got a shooter.
San Antonio still looking for their first field goal of the third quarter, and we're almost halfway through.
And before, that wasn't Derek Fisher, so I'd have to go 1-on-2. But now, I can just make the defense pay. If they want to leave me, I'm going to hit Derek. Derek's going to knock it down.
Fisher pulls up. He's feeling it.
See, now he's in a great rhythm. We're a better team because we got Powell going, Lamar's going, D. Fish is going. And so, now what is the defense going to do? Are they going to stay at home with these guys? And then that's when I get going.
Understanding empathy and compassion. Right? Because as a young kid, when I came in the league, it was like, I'm driving this way, and either you're going to be on the train or be on the track. Right? There was no such thing as understanding that people have lives outside of the game, which apparently I did not. But if I understood that at an early age, then it helps me as a leader to communicate better. I came to understand that later, and getting to know people on a personal level. What are their fears? What are their insecurities? Right? What are their dreams and ambitions, desires, those sorts of things? When you come to understand that about a person, then you can help them reach the best version of themselves. So I wish I'd known that earlier.
Phil wrote that you were, he said that your philosophy was give me the damn ball, but at a certain point, that changed. You started taking your teammates to dinner, you started socializing with them and treating them like partners. Was that a conscious decision you made, or did that just happen?
It was part of the evolution of understanding, what it takes to enhance the group around you. I was a person that was completely consumed with my craft, and I got to a point in my career where I had to kind of take a step back and start looking outwardly, and not looking, internally of how to make improvements, but start looking at others and saying, okay, how can I make him better? How can I improve him? What's he going through, et cetera, et cetera. And that came from, Phil's direction. I think the definition of greatness is to inspire the people next to you. I think that's what greatness is or should be. It's not something that lives and dies with one person. Is how can you inspire a person to then in turn inspire another person that then inspires another person. And that's how you create something that I think lasts forever. Yeah. And I think that's our challenge as people, is to figure out how our story can impact others and motivate them in a way to create their own greatness.
What does the MVP mean to you?
I think what's special about this season is that, I felt like we were such a community. We were such a great team. We all got along. I felt like it was an award that we shared together.
Nice move from Farmer.
Which made it more special because I felt like we did it, because they made me better.
Keep it going, Jordan.
By them, getting in the gym, working on their game and making plays and making shots, that in turn brought me the MVP.
Duncan. There you go. There you go. Banker, walking the rebound. There you go.
In the past, I hear a lot about fans saying that I should have won it before, and maybe not, I don't know.
Odom for the follow.
But winning the MVP was, it was a great honor because it was something that we shared together as a unit.